What's up everybody, it's the Sports Code aka Aiden and welcome back to another video. This is the Manchester United versus Manchester City match preview. Another game, another Manchester derby. We've played Man City so much this season and we're going to add another one to the list in a few hours, so it's going to be exciting. It's always an important game, this game, very popular. And of course, it's to own the rights of Manchester. Really, we've beaten them twice. They've beaten us once, and it's funny how we beaten them at the Etihad and they beat us at Old Trafford. We got another game at Old Trafford in the following hours, so we've got a big test on our hands to put ourselves in a top 4 race. Before I get started on the lineup, just like and subscribe if you like the content I'm bringing, and for like and subscribe for Manchester United actually coming out and being victors, if you think that's going to be the case, as I'll probably explain why I believe that it could be the case in this game. So with Manchester City, I feel like they're definitely in a good run of form. They've dominated Real Madrid in their first game at Madrid, so that looks like they're qualifying into the Champions League, the next stage of the Champions League. They're in good spirits. And they have to be, because they have to pretty much win it now before the Champions League ban goes into effect. So this is pretty much their last season for a long time for them to capture a Champions League. So they have to go all out for that. Now also they in the Premier League they're still pretty good, but I think defensively is where they've struggled this season. For Manchester United, it's the opposite. I think it was the attacking where we've struggled, and our defence kind of was solid. It was a solid foundation with our best defenders healthy, of course. So it's opposites attract, really. Similar problems, just opposite areas of the pitch. But however, I think everybody knows Man City clearly have the better players and the better playing style, better manager. So everything should be in Manchester City's favour in terms of this game. However, I think in a derby, it's just so different than just saying because they have the better players, they're going to win the game. It's so much different. It's all about the attitude. It's all about what Manchester United want out of this game and the attitude they're going to approach this game. If they can make it difficult for Man City, we've seen it twice already. When we make it difficult for them, it's our game to lose. So we do have a good chance to win this game, and I'm gonna stress that enough. We have good opportunities to win this game, and we just all depends on the attitude, what we want out of this game. Ollie's positive in his press conferences, saying if we win this game and we beat Tottenham, we'll be in good spirits for top 4, good chances to beat in the top 4, and I agree with him. This is a game where if we win, we're in a great situation, but if we lose, we go another step back and we'll have to rely on other teams once again to bail us out of jail. Now going into the starting 11, obviously David De Gea in goal. I know against Everton he had a mistake, but after the mistake he was pretty good. So it is a stupid mistake. Everybody knows it was a stupid mistake and it should have never happened. But at the end of the day, mistakes do happen in games. It's just the worst when it happens to goalkeepers, because that's when it's the most highlighted, I guess you could say. It's definitely more highlighted when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, because they're the last man before the goal. So if a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's most likely going to end up in a goal, and that's why it sucks for David De Gea. But he was so good after that you definitely don't drop him in a game like this, no matter how good Sergio Romero is. So De Gea for sure is starting in my eyes in this game. The formation we're going to play, I strongly believe, is a 3-5-2. We have not played Man City in a game where the 3-5-2 has not been used this season. So clearly, 3-5-2 in my eyes is definitely the formation that's going to be used again. It clearly works against Manchester City, and I don't see how they wouldn't use it, to be honest. Even though it's at home and it would probably suck, it's a formation that's going to be used, and we're just going to trust that it will do well. Going into the right wing back position, I've gone with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And this is pretty much out of hope. There's no actual knowledge of Wan-Bissaka being back, according to press conferences and everything. However, being tested, I don't know. I think he's going to play. I think this is a game where he needs to play. If we can beat Man City, I think Wan-Bissaka is going to be very strong a case for the reason why. He keeps their best players quiet. And if it was me, I would say we don't need to risk him in a game like this where, yes, we do need to win, but it's also very unlikely that we're going to win with him in the team otherwise. But I feel like Wan-Bissaka has a very strong mentality, and I'm sure he would want to come back for a game like this. And if it's his choice, I don't see I don't see Oli going against it. So I've gone with Wan-Bissaka if he's healthy. Going into the first centre back, I've gone with the left side of centre back. I've gone with Victor Lindelof. Clearly, Victor Lindelof had a good game in the FA Cup oh, it's the right sided centre back, I guess, left sided from the TV angle, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, with Victor Lindelof, he's had a very good game, and we expect him to play in Man City, but the same problems might still arise. I feel like Man City do love to press Victor Lindelof when he has the ball, and it ends up in Victor Lindelof having silly turnovers, silly giveaways, especially in close areas. I just hope that this game, 3 times the charm, 4 times the charm, and he doesn't make the same mistakes as we've seen in other games. Going into the middle centre back, I've gone with Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, again, another one that is questionable for this game, but according to reports, he should be fine to play. And I think we need Harry Maguire more than anybody. He's the guy that deals with everything in the box, really, corners and everything, which Man City are most likely going to have a lot of. And if we can, that's all we need from him. We just need him to deal with crosses into the box, and we need to deal with everything in the box. And I think he's very good at that, and I think he'll have a solid game here as he has previously in against Man City. And then the left side of centre-back definitely has to be Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw in this position has thrived. He's versed Manchester City twice in this formation and Liverpool, and he's been our best player in pretty much every single game against Manchester City. It's no question about it. He definitely suits this role like a glove. If we play 3-5 at the back in every game, Luke Shaw would arguably be our player of the season if the way he has performed there. However, unfortunately, this is not a formation that many people like. It's not a formation that many people want to go with in the future. So that kind of leaves Luke Shaw still as the left back. And at the end of the day, for me, I think he definitely is a left back. But the left centre back position, you cannot argue that he has been informed there. That's a new position that he had to adapt to, and boys did adapt to it quickly. So for sure he needs to be there. I don't want to see Eric Barley play unless it's for Victor Lindelof's spot. If he has to replace Luke Shaw, then I'm completely against that. Luke Shaw must play in this game. And of course the left wing back is Brandon Williams. He's had a lack of opportunities really in the recent games. A few bench appearances, but I definitely think he needs a start, and I see him starting in this game. So that's good for him. I really like Brandon Williams, and I think that he has a future here. I think his reputation, not necessarily his reputation, sorry, his name, his incitement value has kind of dropped off a bit since Luke Shaw got his spot back, or that one bad game that he had that ended up resulting in him not starting another game. So we need more Brandon Williams. We need more development out of him, and this game should surely help with that. Manchester City is a very good team, and if you play well against Manchester City, you're already learning. No matter how it's not just the tiny pieces of information you learn. It's also about the big occasions, the bright lights, the fans all watching you. So many people are going to be watching this game. So that's the things that people need to learn as well. It's not just the actual footballing side of it, if you know what I mean. Going into the midfielders now. I pretty much put the 3 centre-backs, the 2 wing-backs are technically midfielders, the way that we play, if it's a 3-5-2 necessarily, but majority of the time they're going to be full-backs. So, yeah, so we'll go into the actual midfielders. Matic for sure is definitely one that needs to be named. Matic is the type of player where if we really need him, he's there. He gives us a great rotational player. Now, for the most part, he has not been a rotational player this season. He's been a very key reason to why Man United have been doing as good as they are. And last time against Manchester City, he may have gotten a red card, but he was arguably the best player on the pitch at that time. So he definitely needs to play again in this game. And I think for many people, we thought Man City would abuse Matic and would take advantage of him. But Matic has held his own against Manchester City and bigger teams like Liverpool as well. We forget all about that, but he's held his own here. And his pace is always going to be a problem. But if he's already smart enough to be in the position where he doesn't need to use his pace, then he's already one step ahead of the competition, no matter who it is. So Matic is going to be a very important player in this game. I truly believe that. Another player, obviously, is Fred. Now, Fred, it's a must for Fred, isn't it? I mean, how could you drop Fred when he's arguably our best player this season? And no one gives him enough credit, but he has been our best player this season. And it is pretty close. You have to say Wan-Bissaka's in the conversation as well. Martial. There are players that are in that range of Fred. But Fred has been so consistent and so key to Manchester United victories, not just against the bigger teams, but also teams where we struggle against. If it wasn't for Fred, we would be a lot worse than where we are now. And this has been our worst season, so we can't imagine how much worse it could get. But without Fred, it could be worse, and that's the sad part. So he must play, and I don't think anybody's going to think that he doesn't play unless there's some sort of injury we are unaware of. Going into the other midfield position, we've got Bruno Fernandes. Now, with Bruno, it's a tough one because Bruno he's been struggling as of late, but he also makes so much of an impact where his struggles we don't care about the struggle. Like, he's had I wouldn't say bad games, but 2 average games at best. One of them against Everton and one of them against Derby. Now, Derby is a team where you could arguably say he shouldn't be having a bad game, but Derby pressed the hell out of us. Especially when they got the ball for counter-attacks, they pressed a lot. So yeah, Bruno turned the ball over a lot. He got held up with the ball a lot. But what he does, just being in the game alone, whether he has a good game or a bad game, he makes people run. He creates runs for other people. So even if he has a bad game, it doesn't matter, because all it takes is that one pass or that one shot that could make Bruno Fernandes the ultimate impact player. And he should be starting in a game like this. I know people could say that he's new, so maybe it's not right for him to play in a game like this. He's played every game. Why not play him here? We're clearly a better side with him in it, whether he plays good or not. He could be having the worst game, but we're still a better side with him in the team. So what does that say for an impact player like Bruno Fernandes? Clearly has to play. We'll go to the 2 attackers. So the 2 attackers, one has to be Martial. Clearly, Martial is our best striker, and he's impacted Manchester City before. He has scored goals against Manchester City before, and I don't see why he can't do it again. A very skillful player, but what he needs is service and help. When we lost to Manchester City, that game, the game where we beat them with Matic's goal, Martial did not have any service whatsoever. We cannot do that again. Martial is a player where he can create his own shots on goal and he can create goals. But at the end of the day, he is a striker, and a striker needs service. And you'll see a better Martial with better service. And hopefully we get to see that. Also, I've gone with Agallo up front as well. I would say Mason Greenwood, but I feel like he's definitely an impact player off the bench. Let's go with Agallo here. He's had such a tremendous performance against Derby, scoring 2 beautiful goals. And goals that arguably could have been scored against Manchester City as well. He's very strong. Again, if he gets service, he can provide something in the box. And that's what we brought him for. We brought him for... We bought him, or we loaned him to come and help us in this tough stages of the season, and he's doing that. So let's play him here, and let's see if he can help us even more. The score prediction I've gone with is, I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-1 Manchester United win. The reason why, I just feel like this game's too important to lose. I think we're going to come out fighting for this game. Yes, we're going to be defending a lot. Yes, we're not going to score many goals. But a 2-1 victory in my eyes is definitely the way I'm going to go here. And usually I would say we'll draw this game or lose. But it's just too important. And I hope we can see a right attitude Manchester United. I don't want to be fighting for a draw. I don't want to be fighting for a loss. Let's go out there. Let's push it to Man City. We live with the results. If we lose, we lost to a better team, but we need to have the right attitude into this game. I want to thank you all so much for watching. This is going to be a very big game. Please like, subscribe, take care, and peace.